Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is the Horror Miser Money G. It's time to review the latest psychological horror thriller film starring James McAvoy. This is Speak No Evil 2024.
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is the Horror Miser Money. Now, Speak No Evil is a 2024 psychological horror film that was written and directed by James Watkins. It is based on the 2022 Danish film of the same name by Christian and Mads Chadroff. I believe I pronounced that name correctly. Now, the film stars James McAvoy, Mackenzie Davis, Aisling Vincenzi, I believe I pronounced her name right, Scoot McNairy, Alex West Leifer, and Dan Hugh. Now, in this film, a family is invited to spend the weekend at a lonely home in the countryside. But as the weekend progresses, they realize that a dark side lives within the family who invited them. Oh boy. Now, horror fans, the one thing that American filmmakers seem to do is they seem to make remakes of successful foreign horror movies. I've seen this time and time and again. When you have a successful foreign horror film, especially during the J horror film craze, Americans says, let's do a remake of that film. Now, there have been plenty of foreign horror films that were filmed where the film was successful in the country where it was created in and also had a successful run in the States as well. Such films include the Japanese horror films Unju, The Grudge, and The Ring, the Swedish film Let the Right One In, the Austrian film Funny Games, and in the French film Martyrs. Mostly all these films, and there are plenty of others, were very successful in the countries they originated in and also had great runs and success here in the States. Now, while most of these films did get American versions of them, and they were seen to be okay, except for the 2015 American version of Martyrs, which was ridiculed almost by everybody, most horror fans do seem to prefer the original version than these films. There's something about the translation between some of the films where some of the stuff gets missing or gets lost in translation. Like I said before, some of these films were successful. I would think like Let Me In, which is the American version of Let the Right One In. I actually did enjoy that one. I haven't really seen Funny Games. I know I really didn't have a problem with the American version of The Grudge or the American version of The Ring. I thought those were two very successful transitions. We have the Spanish version, which was called Record or Rec, which the American version was called Quarantine. A lot of people didn't like that one, but I kind of like Quarantine. I thought it was a pretty okay film. But like I said before, when it comes to the American remakes of foreign horror films, they're okay. But most horror fans seem to prefer the original version than the American one. Now that brings us to English filmmaker James Watts. He brings us his American version of the 2022 Danish film horror of the same name called Speak No Evil. Now, in this version, we're introduced to Ben and Louise Dalton, an American couple who are having a holiday in Italy with their daughter Agnes. While vacationing, they are befriended by a free-spirited British couple, Patty and Sierra, along with their son, Ant. I guess that's short for Anthony, but he is called Ant. After spending a wonderful time with Patty and Sierra, the Daltons are invited to spend the weekend in their remote farmhouse in the countryside. Warning sign, warning sign, warning sign. Now, after arriving at the farmhouse, everything seems fine until Louise starts to become a little unnerved by the strange behavior of Ant and Patty's passive-aggressive treatment of Ant as well. Of course, it's not before long when the Daltons realize that something evil is happening here, and soon they must fight for their lives. Ooh. Now, to be honest, horror fans, I have not seen the Danish version of this film. From what I was told, and I believe I've heard, it was a decent psychological horror film with great performances from the lead actors in the film. A lot of people did say that it was a great horror film. I believe from Jen's reviews, I think she said she saw the Danish version, and she enjoyed it. Um, so, but like I said, if I get a chance, I'll take a look at the Danish version. But I have not seen that particular version. Speak no evil. Now, with this premise, you would have to suspend your belief because I'm quite sure if Kelly and I were ever in this situation, if we each ever traveled abroad, which we have before, I can tell you right now, we would never, ever go visit anyone that we really don't know that well. To go that far out to a remote farmhouse and spend the weekend with people we really don't know. It's just not going to happen. No, anyway, at least I'll give Watkins credit because he gives the Daltons a somewhat plausible reason for them to visit Patty, Sierra, and Aunt to the remote farmhouse that's also in the middle of nowhere. I mean, if you're going to make a plausible explanation as why would you visit a couple that you just met and a holiday in a foreign country and you really don't know them that well, and even though you had a great time with them, you are all of a sudden going to come and visit them in a remote section of a country that you don't know that well, you're really taking very big risk right there. But at least I'll give Watkins credit, he gives them a somewhat plausible reason for them to visit them. Now, I like how Watkins paces the movie, allowing the audience to believe that everything is fine with Patty and Sierra, as they seem to be a nice and lovely couple, despite how they treat Aunt at times. We get to see little hints of how they treat Aunt or how Aunt treats them, and yeah, Greg does a very good job because we all know there's something wrong with Patty and Sierra, but the Dons don't know that. So I like how he paces it. He doesn't rush anything. Now, while Patty and Sierra's strange behavior increases, we do get to see that Ben and Louise have their own issues. I think right around the second act of the film, a secret is revealed regarding their current situation and the reason why they're in London. And they thought that a trip to the countryside will help them. So everything does become more, I would say, common sense wise, when they reveal what's going on between them and the reason why they decide, you know what, let's go on ahead and take this trip out and maybe this will help us. Boy, were they wrong about that. Now, I don't know how much Walken sticks to the source material, but I love the fact, as I stated before, he shows several hints to the audience, particularly when Ant tries his best to communicate with Agnes, because he knows that he's got to tell them there's something wrong between Patty and Sierra. And unfortunately, because of his current condition, which I won't reveal, but I'm pretty sure if you've seen the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. He tries his best to communicate with Agnes. No, the reason why I enjoyed this film is mainly because of James McAvoy's performance in this film, as Patty comes off as a very honest, intelligent, and pretty friendly guy. He's very friendly, he's very intelligent, he's honest, seems like a guy that you would spend some time with, but in reality, he's a psychopath. He's a murderer. He's cold blooded, and he has no conscience as he kills children as well. Now, Mackenzie Davis, she's good in the film as well, as she plays Louise as a woman who believes she has sacrificed a lot for Ben, as we learn about what she was before they moved to London. And it's the first to know that there's something off with Patty and Sierra, and also will do anything to protect her family. I thought she was very good in this particular film. Now, there is plenty of tension and suspense as we're waiting for the Daltons to realize that Patty and Sierra are not who they say they are. Like I said before, we get subtle hints throughout the film, how Patty and Sierra are actually how they display themselves to Ben and Dalton. How sometimes they talk to how Sierra talks to Louise, and how Patty talks to Ben. And also, there's a moment in the time when she does something to Agnes that really pisses off Louise a lot. So we get all these subtle hints letting us know, here we go. It's finally about to take the mask off and reveal what's really the true intentions of Patty and Sierra. Now, from what I've read and heard, this film isn't as violent as the original one. And Patrick, that's who the main actor, I mean, that's the main character is called in the original film, is a bit more vicious than Patty is in this one. I also understand that this one is a bit longer than the original film. I believe the original film was about 90 something minutes. This one is almost 2 hours long, but it really didn't seem 2 hours because it's mainly because of the performances of James McAvoy and how well the film is paced. How we're intrigued what's going on with the family, and we're just waiting to see when when the masks come off and Patty and Sierra reveal who they truly are and what's at stake for the Daltons. I think that's one good thing that Walton does. We're never bored what's going on with the screen, despite the fact that this is a longer film than the original film. But Watkins does a good job with the pacing and the flow. No, overall, I really did enjoy this one as we get another great performance from James McAvoy. Some great performances from the child actors too. Especially the child that plays Ant, because he really can't talk. He has to just mumble his lines. I thought he did a good job, and of course, obviously, the actress who plays Agnes. I thought the child actors did a good job in this film, and we finally actually have a decent American version from a decent foreign film. So I really did enjoy this one. So good job, James. So I'm going to give Speak No Evil 2024. I'll give it 3 out of my 5 Bloody Gold coins. It's not great, but I really did enjoy it. It was a really good film. I believe you guys will enjoy it. Like I said, one of the very good American version of a decent foreign horror film. I'll get it right. So there you have it, my horror fans. That is my video and review of Speak No Evil 2024. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with that YouTube algorithm here. Also, have you seen Speak No Evil 2024? What do you thought about it? Please leave your comments in the comment section and tell you what you thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. That way, we notify anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember that horror rules. And I see you in my next video. Guys, stay safe out there.